Good morning.
Hey, good morning, good morning.
This is the day that the Lord has made.
He did.
Let us rejoice and be glad in it. Shall we?
Yeah.
Shall we start with a hymn? In the name of the Father, and the Son, and the Holy Spirit.
Wow, you're getting all
Amen.
churchy on us this morning.
A mighty fortress. I mean, since you just kind of joined the lead vocals team this Sunday.
Yeah. 8 o'clock, the last song, I left my mic on and nobody turned me off.
Nobody turned you off. And that's a song that you requested, actually.
Yes.
So
It is, yeah.
which is good. No, you're good. Which is good because you knew it really, really well.
I did.
You knew it better than anybody else in that place.
Yeah. I love
Actually.
that song, yeah.
Yeah. And you sang out. You sang out
You could
loud
hear
and
me,
proud. Yeah.
Because you weren't there because you were in Nashville
That's right.
for Parents Weekend.
I was...
So you were watching.
It wasn't Parents Weekend. Parents Weekend came and went because there was we did a wedding, so I couldn't go. But yes, I did go to be a parent to my son, who, by all accounts, does not need a parent.
Is that what he told you?
No, that's not what he told me.
It's just what was evident.
He's an independent man. He's good.
Yeah.
He's in good shape. But yeah, so I tuned in. And which is good. I had the opportunity to tune in because he ghosted me Sunday morning for breakfast. That's how independent of a man he is. He texts me, he's like, I need more sleep. Have a safe flight.
Seriously?
Yeah. Yeah, we were going to go. There's a place called the Pancake Pantry. I kind of blew it up a little bit. Went carb heavy. And we went to Pancake Pantry on Saturday morning
He was
for
just
breakfast.
like, have a good flight.
I don't think he said have a good flight. I think he said, sorry, I love you. Yeah.
Nice.
Well,
So you watched church by yourself crying over your pancakes?
no, I didn't go have pancakes. No, I didn't go.
You didn't go?
No, because you got to like stand in line. You know how Nashville is.
Yes.
Like if it's a restaurant,
Yeah.
you're standing in line, you know. And so I'm not going to go stand in line and, sit by myself. So I didn't do that.
You don't go to a restaurant by yourself?
I go to restaurants by myself for sure, but I don't go carb heavy unless it's for the boy.
Okay.
Like if he's like, let's go eat some pancakes, I'm like, okay. So, but anyway, much to my surprise, that last song, I'm like,
What is that?
like
Beautiful sound.
we got Nate and we got Gracie and we got Pastor.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Good song.
And what did you learn from my singing?
That you're blessed in some ways and not others.
But that I sing out.
Oh, yeah, of course. Yeah. Which is very important.
I'm not a wimpy singer.
I don't
sit there and go,
necessarily
"No,
want
no,
you
no, no."
in the front row, fist pumping
Yeah.
to the worship songs. But I do appreciate when you set the tone for other people because, especially we've talked about this before, especially for men, some are less inclined to sing out in a worship setting or and you gave them, you by leading the way, you give an invitation to be like, hey, yeah, we're doing this. This is what we do.
Yeah.
So it's great.
Pastor's terrible, so I can sing.
Yeah, right. Yeah. If he can sing out with a microphone on,
I didn't do that on purpose.
I know.
Yeah.
Well, you got a lot to juggle up there. Mm-hmm. Who was on the soundboard? I didn't check.
Ryan Hahn.
Because we have two of them.
Yes.
So
Elder.
Ryan Hahn, elder.
Yep.
Not meaning that he's older.
Yeah.
He might be. I don't know. I think they're probably the same age or really close.
Probably.
It's pretty interesting to have two men of the same name serving in leadership positions
Yeah.
at our church.
That's a unique name. Han is not a common name.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah. But anyway, welcome to the team.
Hey, you're welcome.
And you made a request for this Sunday, and I got you singing that one too.
Yeah. Canvas and Clay. Is that this Sunday?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's a good song.
Sure. Yeah. I like it.
Yep. Works really, really well. I missed you guys this weekend.
Yeah, we missed you, man.
That's funny. So, nobody told me that.
Nobody said they missed you?
No, in fact, what I heard was, oh, it was so good. And I was like,
I mean, it was really good. I mean, I don't think anybody even noticed. Everybody was just like, wow.
something's better this week.
Yeah. There's the carpet's all in place.
Oh, yeah.
No one's kicking the ground.
Nobody's kicking it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Doesn't seem to be that shining light from somebody's head.
I love how you worry about that. You know what was funny?
What's that?
Coming out of church, the Churchills, they thought last week was doing the Pat Mahomes impression. They were like, "You're Pat Mahomes impression." I was like, "That was not me." I was like, "Aaron does all the impressions."
How do people not know? I've known those people for decades.
I know, but it happens. If you just listen, maybe you don't know who's doing what.
Well, the video is going to be absolutely fantastic. So I encourage you, if you're listening to the podcast, go over to the GraceHill YouTube page. Then you'll know who's talking at all times. I can't believe you're getting credit for my impersonations. Impressions? I don't know. Yep, sure. I did get a chance to, as I was on the plane, watch one of the shows, catch up on one of the shows that you told me about, which is Suits. So I started watching Suits.
How was it?
It was just okay.
What?
It's just okay. It's just okay.
That's all you thought?
Maybe I'm not deep enough into it.
You watched the whole first
season? You told me
season?
that Meghan Markle is, quote unquote, delightful.
She is delightful in it.
Yeah.
But see, you went in with already a bias towards her.
A bias?
Yes.
No, I think I've just been informed. But Elizabeth Oswald, shout out to Elizabeth, she was listening to this past episode and said that I definitely should watch Band of Brothers.
Oh, yeah. That's great.
So that's
hard to watch, but
yeah.
I mean, like, at the end of it, you were just like, man, every veteran I see, I am going to make sure I say
thank you.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. I'm in on Band of Brothers. I should have watched it last night. I was up. How do I look, by the way? Do I look okay?
Of course.
I did not sleep.
Why?
I don't know. Well, Sarah's gone. I think maybe that had something to do with it.
Oh,
I just could not sleep.
I always talk about that, like, as dumb as it is, because Joe and the kids were gone this weekend.
Yeah.
Because her grandpa passed, and, like, yeah, I can't sleep if they're not in the house. Something's just off, you know?
Usually I'm pretty okay with it. I'm used to it.
Well, yeah, she travels a lot.
But last night, man. But I didn't want to start again. You know, if Morty's struggling to sleep, I don't want to turn something on that I'm unfamiliar with, and then kind of get lost into that.
Yeah.
I got back from Nashville. I got back Sunday. Woke up Monday morning in my own bed. Which, by the way, Nashville hotels are expensive. Okay, Nashville hotels are expensive. I stayed at one that is more
known
reasonably
for bed bugs.
Well.
Have you felt anything
No,
itchy?
everything's good. But the
they
mattresses,
usually don't attack for a couple days.
I'm not talking insects with you today. Not talking insects with you. Not going to happen. But the mattress was not good. Okay. So I was like, I woke up Monday morning feeling so good. Oh, so I reach over, look over. No, Sarah. No, Sarah. She's on the couch. So I got up. I was like, what happened? She goes, you were clicking.
Clicking your heels like Dorothy in your sleep?
Yes. There's no place like home. I don't know why it's made her British. She's not.
What clicking were you doing?
I don't know. I must click when I sleep. I don't snore necessarily, but I click.
Like a gagging click?
It's not a gagging click. No. It's just like a.
I think you have sleep apnea.
It's not sleep. It's not
It
that.
is.
It's not that. It's just like
If you're just laying back with your mouth open and you're like,
Yeah, that's what it is.
That's sleep apnea.
But it's not that.
You're
It's-
gargling on.
No,
you're
no.
going to die.
It's not. Well, we all are.
Well, hey, Reggie White. That's how he went.
It's okay. Listen,
You need
it's
to get
not-
one of those masks,
what-
man.
No, absolutely not.
Yes.
No, I'm not gonna be Darth Vader in my own bed.
A little fighter pilot every
No,
night.
I'm good.
Yeah.
No, it's just like it's
Kick
what
the
you
tires,
did.
light the fires. Aaron's going to bed.
I feel the need. The need
Man,
for speed.
It's all about how you spin it. You just put on your fighter pilot
I'm not
mask
gonna do it.
and
No,
lay
listen.
down.
It's not like what you made it to be. It's very seldom. It's like
Yeah, because you're running out of air.
no, I'm
Aaron.
not running out of air.
You're going to deprive your brain of oxygen.
Maybe that's what happened.
Well, that
Great.
could be your forgetfulness.
That's actually the way I entered this world.
Without oxygen?
Yeah.
Me too.
Look at us.
I had the umbilical cord wrapped around my neck a couple times.
Mine was either that or it was. I think that's what it was. I'll have to ask.
They had to vacuum.
Mom, chime in on this. What?
They had to vacuum me out. I had a cone head for a while.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
I was just. I'll have to show you my baby picture sometime. Like I was almost 10 pounds anyway, but it was not pretty. Like I was purple. That was my bait. They're like, yep. You know,
Yeah.
There's no Instagram back then. They're like, we're not going to even pretty this up. It's a newborn baby. But it's, yeah, definitely deprived of oxygen. That explains a lot. We are quite similar.
Yeah.
And people confuse us all
And
the
I don't
time.
have sleep apnea.
How do you know?
Because Joe would tell me.
Would she?
Yeah,
She's so sweet.
she is.
She wouldn't tell you. She
wouldn't.
would just suffer in silence.
You should really get that checked out.
I'm perfectly fine, thank you.
No, I know I'm in your head. You're worried about this.
No, I'm not in the
You
least
have
bit.
50 now.
Yeah,
Sleep apnea comes quick, man.
I'm knocking on 51, man.
I know. Well, I mean, if you don't wake up one morning, I want you to know I love you, and it's
If
been
I
great.
don't, or when I don't,
Well,
that's a way to go, though.
it could be either. Yeah.
I know it could be like when I'm asleep at my desk today because I didn't sleep. I'll be in here clicking. Oh, I have an idea.
You should videotape yourself sleeping.
That's all set up.
Yeah.
Let's just video it.
Yeah.
Click. So,
So,
anyway, big week.
yeah,
talk about
unbelievable
that,
week,
shall we?
man. Yeah, we had our voter meeting on Monday night, and that was just so special. You know, the knock on church voter meetings is how ugly they can be and how pointless they can be. And GraceHill's always been blessed that that's just not been our story. Like our voter meetings are an hour, and they're not contentious, and they're not focused on the wrong things. And like Monday night, that was so special to have that presentation, and then everyone votes unanimously. Like, let's do this. Let's move forward. This is awesome. Then getting to see the building and the 3D kind of fly through there, that was so cool. And then afterwards to call Brady, that was really cool to see him. You know, and everybody love him. And he's an awesome. We're huge fans of his. He's awesome, and that was special for me because I think as a pastor, when you honor one of us, you honor all of us. You know, like it's like a.
Are you trying to take credit for how much people love Brady?
No,
right now?
I'm saying I was choked up watching everyone give him a standing ovation because I was like, man, that's cool. Like, I'm glad he's getting that.
Oh, and he's very deserving. People do love
Very,
him.
very.
And if he's
deserving.
ever doubted that, that doubt's gone now. He's
Oh,
well
sure.
loved there.
Yes, sure.
I wasn't choked up at all. All I was thinking about was, oh man, this has got to burn Justin.
No, it doesn't.
Justin's never gotten a standing ovation. That's all I can think about. Well, there's two things I was thinking about in that time.
Don't even lie. You're thinking of yourself.
Three
You're
things.
like, I never get a standing.
I get standing ovations all the time.
When do you get a standing ovation?
Oh, please. Come on. People stand for musicians. That's just what they do. They don't stand, they're not
Oh,
gonna-
you're talking about a church when they clap after the songs?
No. Oh, no. Please. Lift it up for Jesus.
Yeah.
And also me. Come on. More noise for Jesus.
Yeah.
And me. No, I don't dig that. No.
You're saying that's what other musicians do. That's not your mindset.
I don't care about any of that.
Right.
I was thinking of three things. Okay. The
Okay.
first thing I was thinking about during the vote was, I can't believe Brady's still in here for his vote. Because it wasn't like a silent write it down. It was
Right.
an audible vote. Yay or nay, right?
Yeah.
Which, I mean, we all knew how it was going to go down and no big deal,
we
right?
knew, yes.
But because we knew how it was going to go down, the second thing I was thinking of was I was just going to shout from the sound booth, "Nay!" and be the only one. Because I like to mess with him.
Yes, you do.
And the third thing I thought about was when he got a standing O, I thought about you.
What? Do you really think it bothered me?
No.
Oh, I was gonna
I
say.
wasn't. I don't think it's bothered you. I was thinking about how I was going to pretend like it did.
No, well deserved. Well deserved.
For sure.
He's phenomenal.
Yeah.
And yeah, I wasn't worried about the vote. And,
Nah.
he's doing a great job. And so, yeah, that was
He's
special. That was
he's one of the finest human beings ever. I admire
Agreed.
him in so many ways.
agreed.
He's as different from me and probably you
Yeah.
as a person can possibly be, and what he brings to GraceHill is so necessary. He just cares so deeply. He's extremely intelligent. Now, these are not the ways that he differs between us. He cares and he's smart. Those aren't the ways. We're that way too. But he just has a way about him, which is why people stood up and they were so resoundingly affirming his call. Is that he just, people you can really get a sense of a person who cares, and he just does. So anyway,
Yeah.
it's great. We're blessed, aren't we?
It was.
We're blessed
It was
to
a
sing.
great voter meting. People came out like excited and emotional, and that was just so cool. Out
You
of
were
a voter
getting
meeting.
hugs.
Yeah.
And then we're gonna break some ground.
2 weeks, man.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So the loan company's got all the information now. They need like a couple days to process it, and then we close like next week, and then they start going.
It's awesome.
It is. In 18 months, it'll go fast.
It will.
It will.
It really, really will. Especially come next summer.
Oh yeah,
It'll be
the
like
building
a ton
will
of
be
progress.
up, and yeah, I drove on the road yesterday morning.
Yeah.
because you can drive all the way on it now.
Yeah.
And just took some time to stop out there and just walk around a little bit and just do some prayer. And it's just crazy to think, yeah, in 18 months, that's going to be open, and all the new people that we're going to see. Because you build something new, it's going to have new eyes on it, and it'll be exciting to have those new families coming and being a part of our family. So.
Yeah, I was thinking about it this morning. How there you go. You asked.
The air's blowing
Here
now.
it comes, baby. I was thinking about it this morning in correlation to your message, that there's nothing worse than not having hope in Jesus. There's nothing worse than waking up, like how difficult it would be to wake up every day and go about and do the things and go about your life without expecting hope.
In
Yeah.
anything, yeah.
Yeah. And
I think hope is one of the key components to the Christian faith, because faith, hope, and love, right?
Yep.
Because exactly what you're saying, like a life without hope, and to not to take this a dark turn, but like we know what a life without hope, how it ends.
yeah.
and sometimes why it ends,
Mm-hmm.
because hope is one of the most powerful things. It's what motivates you in the morning to get up and say something good could happen today, like something's out there for me today. There's a reason. There's a reason I'm up.
Yeah.
And hope is powerful, and that's what separates us. That was the last point in the Nehemiah series. Is the thing that sets us apart is we're to be people of hope. That ought to be what's known about us.
Mm-hmm.
Is obnoxious as it is for some people on the outside. Like pessimists are so frustrated and turned off by optimists. But yet in a similar fashion, that's the way Christians are supposed to be seen in culture, as people of hope. That when things are down and out and people are like, no, you should be angry, you have cancer. No, you should be angry that this is happening. You should be angry that, financially this is what's going on. And it's like, oh, but I have hope. Like, there's something greater than this, and even in this life it can get better because God's got this.
Well, I think that it's pretty clear too that if you don't have hope in Christ, you're putting your hope into something.
Oh yeah.
So
there's 3 stages. There's hope in Jesus, which gives you, hope. There's hope in something that'll fail you, and then there's no hope.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, the people with no hope, man, that's sad. But the people that put their hope in other things is sad too. And you'd see this. You see people that absolutely cling to, these authors and these, speakers that, are known for certain things. And, this is, my hope's in this guy or this gal that's saying this is the way to find what I'm looking for. My hope is in myself. My hope is in, we put hope in all these false things that are going to fall short.
My hope is in my kids' activities.
Yeah.
And that defines me, or that's
Sure.
their future. That's my future. My hope is in my job, my career,
Yep.
my achievements, my success, my bank account.
Yep.
All of these things that, first of all, will all fade away.
Yeah, they'll all fail you.
And secondly, can be evaporated. They can disappear in a moment's notice. You tired too?
Yeah. Sorry.
Did you not sleep?
No, I slept fine.
Would you like an espresso?
No, sorry. I won't yawn again.
No, it's okay.
My apologies. Calling
Why are
me
you being
out.
all passive aggressive? Now you're crying. What happened?
You always get teary-eyed after you yawn. Don't you?
Are you getting emotional?
Yeah.
Is this because you didn't get a standing ovation?
See, you're making this a thing. I just want to say to everybody out there.
Where did I learn that? Who does that?
About?
Who does
Making something a thing? I make something a thing all the time. But to everyone out there, I want to make sure you know that he is kidding. I was so proud of Brady, and I loved that he got a standing ovation. I thought that was very sweet and deserving.
Why did you sit down, though, during it?
Oh, stop. You are so bad. See, this is what divides the church, is when people start trying to play favorites between pastors, and you're trying
Is that right?
You stop it.
Well, everybody's got a favorite pastor, though.
Well, sure.
Yeah.
That's okay.
It's the lesser favorite. It's the lesser of the 2 or 3 or 4.
Yeah.
They're the ones that cause the problems.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Back on track. Okay.
Back on track.
You're well rested now. You're not crying.
Yes.
You're good.
The message.
Yes.
Yeah. So the verse, if you ever get an email from me at the bottom, it says Romans 12:12, and that was our verse. I think there's a lot of power in just a short statement that you can remember, and be joyful in hope, patient in affliction, faithful in prayer. I think that sums up, how we're to walk out this life. And so what we looked at as we wrapped up Nehemiah, crazy ending to Nehemiah.
Yeah.
In chapter 10, the people make these vows to the Lord of, hey, we're going to do all these things. In chapter 11 and 12, it lists all the people that are in leadership, and they dedicate the temple, or they dedicate the wall, and then they're worshiping in the temple, and you're like, oh, great, into 12, like everything's good. And then comes 13 to end it. And like Nehemiah goes away for a year, goes back to the king, and comes back. And when he comes back, like there's all these issues. Like his rival, who's been trying to stop him all along, has like kicked out all the tithing area and is living there in the temple. And he like throws him out, and all the priests and the church workers are, because they have no income, they're out in the fields working. And so he gets them back established. And then the people have been marrying outsiders, foreigners, of other religions. And it says he beats them and pulls out their hair and makes them take a vow, and he gets everything back on track. And so what I said was, like stepping back and looking at the big picture, like why did he do this? The reason why he reestablished Jerusalem was because the prophets had always said that the Messiah would return to the temple. Mm-hmm. And so long as the temple is torn down and the temple is not having worship done in it, and Jerusalem is not, secure, the Messiah can't come. And he's like, I know the prophecies say that we have to do this in order for the Messiah to come. So as far as it depends on me, I am going to rebuild the temple, get worship going, worship of the one true God, so that we don't get, sent out as captives again and all of this bad stuff, like, so that the Messiah can come. And then sure enough, 400 years later, the Messiah comes to that very temple, to that city, to those, to that place where he kicked out Tobiah from living. Jesus would go to that very spot, and could you imagine just somebody just squatting in the church? Just like
kind of,
yeah. But that was what he did, and so, anyways, so we talked about hope. That the biggest thing we have to have is hope as Christians. It sets us apart. And that in the book of Nehemiah, we see 4 big promises that God makes, and then it's 4 big promises that he still makes to us today. And the first one is God is always aware of our circumstances, and I think that's so huge. That God knows what's happening. Because sometimes it feels like he doesn't.
Yeah, like you're on an island.
It just feels like, you just feel like nobody sees what I'm going through. Nobody knows what I feel. Nobody knows, how that affected me. And God's like, no, I know. Yeah. And, I made the comment about my wife and, how she always, wants me to listen, not fix,
right.
And
I think the quote was, now correct me if I'm wrong. Let me just read my notes. Women are tricky, tricky creatures.
They are tricky creatures. Your wife is not a tricky creature? A mystery to you?
The trickiest.
The trickiest.
She's a mystery wrapped in an enigma, surrounded by a riddle.
Yes.
But yes.
And I think
she's going through something and she
doesn't want me to fix it. She wants me to listen.
And we are
because
inclined to.
And we want to fix it.
We want to fix it, yeah.
We want to fix it. Yeah. But she just wants me to know. She doesn't want to feel alone in what she's going through. She wants me to know what she's experiencing, what she's thinking, what she's feeling. For sure. And in that way, I think there's comfort. Because it was funny, as I made that point, I saw a lot of the head nods with women, that there is hope in that he knows. Yeah. Like what you're feeling, what you're going through, what nobody else knows, he knows. Yeah. And there's hope in that of like, okay, I am seen. I am heard. I am understood. Like when you're sitting there and you're telling your best friend, like, I can't believe this happened and da-da-da, and they're like, oh, that's so terrible. And you're like, okay, yeah, they're sorry for me, but they don't get it. God gets it. Yeah. He knows. And we don't have a high priest who can't sympathize with us. He went through everything we went through. Mm-hmm. I mean, he knows what we've gone through because he's done it. He's lived it out too. And so that first promise is huge, just to know that God knows. Mm-hmm. And then the second one is that he's always guiding and instructing. And that's hopeful because it's not up to you to find the answers or figure out the best plan or course of action for whatever's going on. Yeah. Like God will guide you and instruct you. And you're like, well, no, I need an answer today. It's like, that's where you get into trouble. Because when you're saying, I need an immediate answer, you will sacrifice the right answer for an immediate answer. And, as much as you want to believe that Google or some podcast or some book or some teacher can give you the right answer, sometimes they can, sure. But not every time. And the good news is, it's like every time God has some type of, there is not a, people are like, well, the Bible's so outdated, and yet I can show you every time you can bring a variable to me of like, here is this problem with this unique variable that's unique to our time right now. And I go, yeah, the one thing that hasn't changed in 10,000 years of human existence is people.
Yeah.
We're the same.
Yeah. Really
exact
are.
same.
Exactly.
You read the Bible, you read the patriarchs from 5,000 years ago, they go through the same stuff we do.
Yeah.
It's different variables around it.
The difference is this, and this is where I think it becomes very, very difficult for our society, is to take it to the Lord in prayer and wait on the Lord. Be patient. Because like you referenced, like Google.
Yeah.
When we want something, we just can look it up. We have access to everything.
And we are not patient.
We're not patient. In fact, it's having an impact on our levels of patience.
Oh, yeah.
Right? So people are becoming less and less patient, which means it's more difficult to be patient and wait on the Lord.
And I think most people know a rash decision is not usually your best decision. Rarely is it your best decision. That you take it to the Lord, I realize that sometimes answers from the Lord are so subjective and so hard to find, because you're like, oh, where do I even start in reading the Bible? Like, if I want an answer to this, where do I even go? How do I know where to go? If I go through prayer, how do I know what's a yes and what's a no? Right. How do I discern this? And if I go to seek out wise counsel from, a pastor or a friend that knows the Bible well, like, that's so much work, and yet God says, like, look, if you're in tune with me, if you're reading my word, if you're in prayer, if you're seeking godly counsel, you will find instruction and guide. Yeah. And you look at Nehemiah, and he did all throughout. He knew, despite everything going on around, he knew the path, the plan to get it done, because he was in tune with what the Lord wanted. And we're in the same boat, that when we look for answers, the good news, the hope is that it's not up to us to always have the right answers. We don't have to, like, we have a God who loves us, who's out in front of us, who is guiding and leading us if we'll just listen.
Yeah.
And there's hope in that. Like, to feel that weight come off your shoulders of like, okay, somebody else has got this figured out. I just got to walk through the steps. I just got to follow the process, and the answer will come.
Yeah.
And so there's hope in that, like, take topic number one. When you're going through something and people around you are like, wow, you're handling that well. Yeah. Like, God knows. I'm heard and I'm seen.
Yeah.
And then, like, topic two, like, you got some big thing going, crisis in your life. And people are like, wow, what are you going to do? Why are you so calm? Why are you so peaceful about it? Well, I have hope that God's going to guide me. Yeah. He's going to give me the steps in the like, I know what I need to be doing. Here's a couple of Bible verses that I'm going to be meditating on and discerning what they mean for me, and praying through that. And, and I know God will answer. But I pointed out, sometimes God answers no, and that's an answer too. And people don't accept that answer.
I think a lot of
people think when I pray to God and when I follow God, the answer will be yes. I just need to wait for the yes. Yeah. And it's like, no, sometimes God says no. And that's an answer. Like, no, I'm not going to do that. No, I'm not going to give you that. No, I'm not going to bless that. Yeah. No, that's not how this is going to turn out. Right. So start adjusting.
And when it's no, it's important for us then to be faithful.
Right.
And understand that
Learn
it's not
why it's
no,
a no
to my detriment. It's no for my own good.
Right.
For whatever it happens.
And then you
to
start
be.
to discern why is a no better for me?
Yeah.
And I
changed
have
my
found
heart.
some powerful answers in that.
Yeah.
You know, I've wanted things and they have been a no.
Yeah.
And then I've had to wrestle with, God, why would you do that?
Right.
Why would you deny that? Why would you close that door?
Mm-hmm.
And when you look at it as you are wiser, you know, your ways are higher than my ways, you know, kind of thing. I found really good answers in his no's.
Yeah.
Of like, wow, okay. I didn't see that, but now I do. And you're right. That wasn't what was best for me.
Yeah, and it's not even always a hard and fast yes or no. Sometimes it's at least what I found. Sometimes it's a yes, but, or yes, although, not the way that you want this to go down, not the way that you're asking.
Sure.
I'm gonna
I
make
have a
this
different way to
happen.
bring that about.
Yeah, and that's what I find to be, oh man, that is one of the more powerful things of prayer.
Yeah.
Is when God makes a way that I didn't know could happen. I didn't know existed. I didn't know
Hey,
was a
kind of like
possibility.
the song we sang.
I know.
You make a way. Yeah. I love that song.
Sing it
I already did.
again.
Yeah. You sing it. We didn't get to hear you sing it.
Nobody cares.
I know, because Nate did it so better.
So better?
Yeah. So much better.
Really?
Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah.
I know it was a competition. You know, this is where it gets divisive when you pit worship leaders. You know, you play favoritism. I think. Oh, you're talking
Yeah.
about pastors, though, not worship leaders.
Oh, no. Worship leaders, too.
Because we're humble creatures.
I mean, everybody that came out was like, man, I wish Nate would do that every week. He got a standing ovation, too. Yeah.
Please rise and sing.
Yeah.
They're standing for me.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
So, but yeah, I think that's one of the more powerful things is having enough trust
Yeah.
that God knows best. He knows the circumstance. He knows the situation better than I do. He knows me better than I do.
Mm-hmm.
And that he will answer those prayers in a way for him to be increased, not for me,
Mm-hmm.
and make a way that I didn't even
See it coming.
I didn't see it coming, didn't realize was a possibility, didn't know of. And those are those moments that it's like, man, God is good.
Yeah.
He's so
Where you step
good.
back in awe and you're just like, yeah, I am this little thing, and
Yeah.
you are God.
And I'm
you know?
glad.
Yes.
let's
Yeah.
make it more that way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The third promise that we see is that God always provides for his people. And the point in that one was like, look at Nehemiah. Like they're being attacked from the outside, from the inside. They got trouble and brewing, and they got all this going on. And yet God always provides. And, you know, when we hear that phrase, we always think of like material things like car, house, money, you know, clothes, you know, food. And it's like, no. When God provides, he provides a whole bunch of things. Mm-hmm. He provides leadership. He provides courage. He provides strength. He provides endurance. He provides humbleness. He provides sunny days to get the work done. He provides materials to get the work done. God provides in so many ways. And that's what's beautiful about God is like God's providing things that you're not even asking for every day.
Yeah.
Hundreds of things that you're not even asking for.
Not even asking for, not even cognizant of.
Right.
Not even aware of.
Right.
You know, like safe passage, for example.
Right.
You know, like he made a safe way for me to get my kids to school today. I didn't acknowledge that.
Right.
It's like,
Like
no, I just
last
dragged my
night,
kids to school.
After the elders meeting, Brady and I stayed and talked for a little while. And I was driving down Honeysuckle, and giant buck comes running out. I mean, giant. Had to be 12 point. He was huge. I know somebody's going to go looking for him now. I mean, right in front of me. And I mean, luckily, it's only like, 35 right there, which is ridiculous speed limit. But anyways, but I was thankful that night.
Yeah.
Because, he didn't slow down. He didn't speed up. He just trotted right across like I was nothing, And I hit my brakes, and he came right across. And so, like, I got home, and at no point did I ever think what could have happened if I hit him. I was just telling Joe, like, you won't, I mean, it's right by, like, you wouldn't picture a deer that size, like, right next to our church and right next to all those houses and all that. And she was like, wow, thank goodness you didn't hit it. And I was like, oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, God, thanks for providing that I was paying attention.
Yeah.
That I wasn't looking off to the right.
Yeah, after a long day and night.
In the middle of the dark.
Several long days and nights in a row that you just weren't complacent.
Right.
Yeah.
And that he came right out of the dark, and there's 100 things that he provides that you don't even think about.
Yeah.
And that gives you hope. It's kind of like my wife, like, we'll get ready for a trip. And she's like, pack your stuff, pack your clothes, I'm like, done. I'll get my bag ready. And I get my bag. She gets all the kids ready, herself, everything, the dog, everything's packed ready. I get myself ready. And like, we get on the trip, and I'm like, oh, I forgot. And she's like, I got it. And I'm like, oh, I forgot. And she's like, I got it. And I'm like, oh, you know what we should have brought? She's like, I got it. I mean, like, that's God. Like, you're like, oh, man, I think I need. And God's like, I've already
done this. Yeah.
I've already done this. Yeah. I'm providing for you in ways you don't even know.
I mean to tell you that going back to earlier, taking it to the Lord in prayer, by starting those prayers by acknowledging how good God is, how he does provide, how he blesses, how he cares, how he loves, how he forgives, how he guides, how he equips, and just taking some of that time, to meditate, if you will, not in the
but remind
Eastern,
yourself.
Yes, yeah, just to sit in silence. Sometimes I say, in prayer, I'm like, examine my heart and mind, God. Bring these things. To let me give voice to these things. Let me just sit quietly for a moment and think about how much you've done already today.
Yeah.
Already today. That's a really important thing to do, I think.
And I think the more you do it, the more you take trust in him.
Yes.
Because as soon as you list out 50 things, then all of a sudden you step back and go, I'm in good hands.
Yeah.
So, like, I came into this prayer all anxious about X and like, God, this is a big deal. Like, God, please help me. And then once I took time to list everything that you do, some of these things I don't even ask for, but I'm just going to list all the ways you provide for me. All of a sudden you step back and go, I'm in good hands.
Yeah.
God, I got this.
Yeah.
And you got it.
Yeah.
You got it. You'll provide. And you'll be with me to give me strength in the hard things. And even when you say no, it's not the end of the world, because you're a good and gracious God. And you've got it, and you'll provide. And I mean, there's incredible hope in that. Of like, hey, it's like one of those things of like, if I don't ask for it, I won't get it. So like, it's like, no, God's gonna lavish his love and his provision upon you.
Yeah, if you think about it, if you think about how he provides, and you do list those things, are those things that you've prayed for?
No.
Not necessarily. I mean,
No.
you haven't prayed for every single thing that he's provided,
No.
yet he still does.
I have never once prayed for air to breathe. God, please let me breathe right now. Like, I've never. And yet I do it every day.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it gives you hope. Like, God's got you.
Yeah.
And then the last one is, and this one is the most crazy. Like, God is ready to forgive. Eager and ready to forgive.
Yeah.
Like, why did God want that temple to get open again? Because he wanted sacrifices to be made so that his people could be forgiven, so that he could be at peace with his people again. Like, God, who has been wronged, is the aggressor in making things right.
Yeah.
I mean, he is adamantly pursuing people that have turned away from him to try and get them right with him. Like, yeah, when your spouse or your coworker or your boss like goes off on you, are you running to them and paving a way for them to be forgiven? Like, hey, I've already done all this, and all you gotta do is sign it. Like, forgiven, done.
Good.
You know, like, and yet God, like, He is eager to forgive you.
Yeah.
And that's what we see in the temple is, you know, like, and I started from the beginning with Adam and Eve, and you know, they keep provides a perfect place, and they fall into sin, and yet He quickly forgives. You know, you can take Abraham and all he does, you know, with his wife and all these other things, and Lot and Jacob and Isaac and Joseph and, you know, Noah and David and Solomon and all the other kings along the way. Like, God, the Israelites, all the times with Moses that they frustrate him and you know, all these things. And yet God is eager to forgive. And then you take it here. God's like, hey, I made you guys captives because you stopped listening to me. You stopped worshiping me. So I let other armies come in and take you away. I'm bringing you back. Now get it right. And within a year, they fall apart. And he doesn't forsake them. He still sends the Messiah. He still sends his own son for a stubborn, sinful, rebellious people.
Yeah.
I mean, if I was God, I would not send Jesus. I would be like, look at this.
Yeah.
You guys don't deserve this.
Right.
And yet he sends Jesus.
Yeah.
And I think that's incredible.
Grace.
That's incredible love. That's incredible grace and mercy of getting what we don't deserve. And that gives us hope. That no matter how dark it gets, no matter how big our mistake, no matter how messy, no matter how far away we go, no matter how long we're away, He is eager and ready to come home. Because remember, it's Jesus who tells the story of the prodigal son. It's Jesus who says, you want to know who Dad is? Let me tell you who your God is. He is the God who stands on the doorstep of his house and watches the horizon for a sign of you, and then comes running to you. Not, I saw you at the horizon and I thought, okay, he better get this speech ready.
Yeah.
He better get this apology ready. And if he doesn't get it right, man, I'm going to crush him. Yeah. No, he went running to the son, running to him, embraced him. And the son said, I'm not worthy to be your son anymore. I'm not really. And he said, shut your mouth. And he put a ring on his finger. Yeah. And he put a robe around him, the best robe in the house, which would have been his robe. And he threw a feast because his son that was lost is now home. And God says, Jesus tells us that story to say, that's how your Father is. And God is ready and eager to forgive. And there's incredible hope in that. That it doesn't matter how dark it gets, God is ready to forgive. Yeah. That, when people are like, oh, you're a hypocrite and you're a failure, I am, but God is ready to forgive.
Yeah. Thankfully, he's, I might be, but he's not.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. I might be.
Yeah.
No, I am. So are you. But God isn't.
God is, yeah. God already has paved a way to forgive me. He already knew I was going to do this, and he put it on his son and paid the punishment and paid the debt himself, a debt that I could never pay, that I could never earn. And he's already taken care of it. And so when you look at that big picture of these 4 promises that we see play out in Nehemiah, if you live by that, it's impossible to not be people of hope. When you know that he sees and he hears and he knows everything you're going through, and that it's not up to you to figure things out. He's going to guide you and he's going to lead you, and that he's going to provide for you, even things you don't ask for, and that he is ready to forgive you and clean you up and give you a second chance, and eager to do this. Man, how can you not be hopeful? Yeah. Whatever you face of going, God's got this. I'm good. I'm good.
Yeah, be hopeful.
Rejoice in hope.
Yeah.
Rejoice in hope. And it's an incredible thing. Because the book of Nehemiah ends with the city rebuilt, the Messiah is on his way, and we're all going to be saved.
Right.
So there's hope.
Yeah. And as we undergo this building project out at Avenue 1, there will be room for a lot more hopefulness for people to come and proclaim Christ as Lord and Savior, to repent, to receive grace and mercy, and for hope to be shared.
Yeah, and I want to add something. You know, we had our elders meeting last night, and we talked about this. You know, look, I know that there's churches and pastors out there that their goal is to grow and grow and grow, so that, you know, it's a bigger number and a bigger number and a bigger number and a bigger number.
Yeah.
And I want, you know, everybody that listens and a part of GraceHill to know where our heart's at. Like, you know, when our consultant comes and tells us, you know, based on your numbers and the growth that we're seeing, like, we expect you to double, if not triple, you know, within your first, you know, couple years in the building. That nobody at GraceHill heard that and was like, yes, now we're on the path. Look at the big audience we're going to have. Look at how awesome we're going to be. We're going to be the biggest. Like, that was nobody's response, including your pastors. My heart when she said that went, oh no. Because honestly, in my heart, I was thinking, it's going to be very hard to be GraceHill. It's going to be hard to be fully known and fully loved. It's going to be hard to know my people and be their pastor. It's going to be hard to still be a close-knit community when we're that big. And that's why we're adamant about planting, that, you know, when we start getting too big, that we, you know, when we can't live out who we're called to be, and we can't be the church and have the type of church that we think is best, which is a family feel, where we know each other, where we can love and serve one another, that we're going to plant a new church. And so, yeah, this whole project and this whole building, we said it from the beginning. We're not building a building, we're building a church. Mm-hmm. And yeah, we want more people to come, and we want more people to saved. We want more families to know Jesus and be changed. And but we don't seek our own glory in this, and we don't take pride in whatever that number is. I promise you this: when we have a week that's a huge number, and we have a week that is a lower number, I don't go to sleep differently. Mm-mm. I don't go, oh no, you know, we were 100 less this week. Mm-hmm. I don't. I think, hey, I haven't seen that person in like three or 4 weeks now. I'm gonna reach out to him tomorrow. That's what I go. That's what I go to sleep thinking. Yeah. Or, man, that broke my heart when so and so shared, you know, what their family's going through. Mm-hmm. You know, after church when I was talking to them, and I'm gonna pray for them. And I'm thinking, man, how can I put some resources around them, or, you know, what can I do to help? Like, that's the stuff I'm thinking about at night. And I don't want to get so big that we can't know our people that way. Mm-hmm. And so, you know, this building, it's going to take all of us to have that mindset of like, how do we keep this a family? Yeah. Because we can't close the doors and say, no one new, mm-hmm. you know.
All full.
All full. Yeah. We can't do that. And when we have something very special, which I think we do. Yeah. I think GraceHill is very special. Of course, people want to come and be a part of that. But I just want you to hear from your pastor, like, my heart. Like, you're never going to hear me say, hey, guys, our goal is to be at 800 in attendance at this year. Or our goal is to plant, you know, 75 churches in the next 10 years. Or, you know, like, we're just, no. We're going to faithfully do what's in front of us. The people that are going to come, we're going to try and love them, know them, serve them, help them, bring them into the family. And when it gets too big, we're going to start something new.
Yeah, and we can be faithful in that process to what God's will is, and trust and have hope that He will make the way, whatever that happens to be. And likely it'll be a way that we haven't even thought of.
We're open to what God's going to do. Yeah. I mean, all along the way, He's led us. We faithfully just keep walking forward. I just want to applaud our board. I mean, the leadership of Ryan and Charlie and at that meeting, and then the rest of the board, and even the board members that have hopped off, in recent years, that were a part of things for years.
Yeah, Jess and Susan,
phenomenal job. Greg was a huge part.
Greg,
Matt,
Matt.
But that voter meeting was a testament to our leadership, because they have done such a faithful job of being transparent, of being honest, of pushing forward. I mean, like, there were many times that it was like, man, we're just going to keep walking forward, and we're going to trust that one of these doors is going to open.
Right.
And our board, and especially Ryan's leadership, has been unbelievable over these 7 years of faithfully pushing forward, and just trusting in the Lord. Like, he'll open doors, and he does.
Yeah.
And it wasn't doors we thought would be open.
Exactly.
And all of a sudden they open, and we go, whoa, that's awesome.
Yeah.
And then it just keeps happening. And it's because they faithfully, through prayer, and, the prayer I always talk about, and I don't know what monk it was. I probably should look it up at some point. But there was a monk that used to write that his prayer was, Lord, I don't always know what pleases you, but I pray that my wanting to please you pleases you.
Yeah.
And that's our prayer. That's the board's prayer. That's a prayer I pray all the time. Yeah. Lord, I don't always understand.
I'm after your heart.
But I want to please you, and I pray that pleases you. And I pray that you would just bless what we're trying to do. And if it's not pleasing you, shut it down. Yeah. Close that door. And we'll keep walking. And we'll check the next door. Just an incredible, we are very blessed at GraceHill with an incredible family, incredible leadership. And I can say that because I'm just a small part of that. Yeah. Especially with the board. I don't have a vote on the board.
Right.
I'm on the board, but I don't have a vote. And the way that we're designed, it's y'all's church. And you select me to be the spiritual leader. But it's y'all's church. We vote together as a family. Yeah. This is what we're going to do. I mean, we voted to do a $12 million project together. That's a lot of money. Unanimously. But this church said, we're invested. We're in. Right. This is what we want. That's a big commitment, but we're in. Yeah. And we want to make this happen because more people need to know about Jesus. Yeah. And that's why we did it. It's awesome.
It really is. And that puts a cap on Nehemiah.
Yep.
And now we get to open up this new series on Sunday.
We're doing 3 weeks on Dream Big as we wrap up the Dream Big here at the end of this year. This is just like a 3-week series of just encouragement to finish strong. And to talk about, once again, there are people that have come along the journey that haven't been a part of Dream Big. Right. Here's what our generosity, here's what motivates our generosity. Because I think that's important to lay out in front of people, is this is what motivates our generosity. And so really we're looking at John 10:10 as kind of the basis for it. Yeah. Where it talks about the thief comes to steal, kill, and destroy, but I came to bring you life and bring you life abundantly. And we're going to talk about, what does that abundant life look like? I mean, like, when we hear the word abundant life, what do we think of that? Yeah, God has a different answer, I think, than most of us of what an abundant life looks like.
Most definitely.
And so many of us, we hear the phrase every time giving to church comes up of we give of our time, talents, and treasures, and so we're going to look at each week those things, like an abundant life that Jesus is talking about. What does that mean for our time? What does that mean for our talents? What does that mean for our treasures? Yeah. And it's a great understanding of generosity because we're called to be generous people. And you're going to see, I'm not talking about giving to church. I'm talking about generosity. Right. That's different. Yeah. I'm not saying, hey, everybody, here's a slip of paper. Tell me exactly, what money is coming in. That's not what's happening. I'm saying God wants us to have generous hearts, and that's really hard for a lot of us to be generous. Yeah. So how do we be generous people in everything we do, in our time, in our talents, and in our resources? And so, yeah, it's going to be good. And then we get into Matthew for like 9 months. Yeah. And I'm excited.
Me too.
Because there's so much there. Every week it's going to be awesome. I mean, there's so much there.
On we go.
Here we go.
On we go. Well,
God bless you guys.
Yeah, God bless.
And the new t-shirt order comes out this week.
Oh, it does.
And there is a official Buzzy
official Buzzy
t-shirt
merch available.
if somebody wants to buy it.
And Kelly.
Aunt Kelly. She already told me yeah, Aunt Kelly. But I think there'll be a couple. You and I are going to get one, right? You going to get a shirt?
Of course.
Yeah. All right. So, yeah, be watching for that this week.
Thank you.